Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to speak about the key to locking in. The key to locking in your habits, your routines, your discipline and your consistency. Because any goal you want to achieve, you need to change your habits. You need to change what it is you are doing on a daily basis for you to be able to achieve that goal. If you do not change your habits, you will stay the exact same as how you are right now. And not achieving those goals will mean letting yourself down, letting your family down, letting who it is you provide for down, and not building the life that you want. So in today's video, I'm going to break down how to lock in a way that I've never heard anyone speak about before. I've never even spoke about it in this way before. So I'm really excited to get into it with you, and there's going to be two main methods that we use to lock in. So definitely watch the entire video. My name is Cameron Shearer, fitness and mindset mentor for the last 6 years. And if you like this video, please like, please subscribe, because I drop videos like this every single week and I don't want you missing out. So the first key to locking in is going to be an approach of 1%. The 1% approach. This is the approach that I have used for the last decade, for 10 years. It's 1%. It's not 100%, it's 1%. See, one of the biggest issues that people face when they go to achieve a new goal, when they want to set out on maybe fitness, on maybe side business, on maybe starting their own business, or any goal actually, is they go from doing not very much to wanting to do everything. And that can be really, really hard. Maybe it's trying to break a bad habit. Maybe you tell yourself, you know what, I want to lose weight. What they'll do is starve themselves. They'll really push the calories down to like 1200, they'll do loads of cardio, and they'll find it really challenging. They might make some progress at the start, but the consistency is really tough to keep up that much of an extreme. Maybe it's cutting things out like alcohol. So you say, okay, after this date, I'm never going to drink alcohol again. And then you only make it a couple of weeks and then you drink alcohol again and you feel disappointed in yourself. So you continue drinking alcohol, going back to the way you used to be. Maybe it's cutting out other habits like vaping or screen time and things like that. And people try to completely remove those bad habits or completely change their way of life. The way they're currently living completely alters in the seek of chasing some goal. And all that leads to is you really fighting, you really struggling. Because what happens is our brains are programmed for consistency. They're programmed for familiarity. Jeez, oh, that was hard to get out. They're programmed to feel comfortable. And when you make massive amounts of change, your brain kind of goes, hold on, what is happening here? This is really unfamiliar and I do not like it. So it then sabotages you to go back to what it is that you were doing before, because that's familiar. And even if familiar isn't optimal, or even if familiar isn't what you want, your brain knows it's familiar. And that familiar is safe. Change is unsafe to your brain because it's the unknown. So the way that you can convince your brain that change is safe is, instead of trying to change everything at once, 100 things at once, just change 1% at a time. See, to avoid your brain panicking and to avoid you panicking of, okay, I've got to do X, Y, and Z to try and get into my fitness routine, instead of chunking away massive amounts of calories and starving yourself. You know what, if you just said to yourself, I'm just going to try and eat a couple of less chocolate bars throughout the week, and I'll reward myself with a chocolate bar at the weekend. If you're trying to cut down your screen time, well, look at your screen time today and try and improve on it tomorrow by 10 minutes less. And every single day, you're just going to try and reduce it by a couple of minutes. If you're trying to get consistent with the gym, but you keep on falling off, just say to yourself, you know what? This week I'm going to go 2 times. Next week I'm going to go 3 times. It's about these 1% improvements. These small things, these almost like laughable things. These things that you wouldn't like brag about on Instagram stories. Oh, I managed to go to the gym 1 more time than I did last week. Or or my screen time was down by 5 minutes compared to yesterday. These almost laughable things are how you build momentum, or how you constantly improve without such a drastic change at the beginning that you find it incredibly hard to stay consistent with. It's the exact approach I have done for my entire fitness. At times, I have been far away from perfection, far away from 100%, but I've just made improvements. Constant, wee, small improvements, particularly with my nutrition, but when it comes to my routine as well. If you're someone that wants to try and wake up earlier, don't say to yourself that you are going to, you know what, every single day I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. when you normally get up at 9 or 10. Just try and reduce it half an hour every couple of days, every day, until you're at the time you want to wake up. Same with bedtime. So the 1% mentality, the 1% method, is just looking at where you can improve by the smallest margin. The 1% method absolutely does take more time. It takes more time than taking a drastic change fast and trying to grin and bear and white knuckle your way through the hard time and the struggle until it catches. Now, for some people that works, but for the majority of people it doesn't. And what is really important to understand is that when you try and force intensity, I would always bet for the person that's consistent versus the person that is intense. Because when intensity is inconsistent, consistency always wins. I would rather someone make those 1% improvements and see a good habit adopted over the course of 6 months or a bad habit dropped over the course of 6 months than someone that tries to change 5 different habits all at the one time and fails and is in a constant stop-start cycle. I would truthfully rather change 2 big bad habits per year than, because it takes 6 months for one of those to change, then look at someone that constantly tries the most intense approach but never actually gets any further forward because they can't stick to it. So if you've got those habits down, if you are making those improvements, there's another part to this. It's actually making those habits that you're trying to improve or the goal clear. It's understanding why it matters. So if you're trying to get into a fitter body, why does that actually matter? If you're trying to drop bad habits, why does that actually matter? Because if you are suffering, if it is tough, even with those 1% improvements, it's not going to be easy at times. But if you're suffering and making progress towards a goal, you will be able to bear it. So having that clear picture there of where it is you're actually aiming for is really, really important. It always blows my mind how many people come to me and ask for help with their fitness, and I ask them what their goals are and they don't even really know. They just say, I kind of want to genuinely get healthier. And that's not really ideal. You want to be clear in your goals. You want to be clear in what you want to weigh, what you want to look like. You want to be clear on how much money you've got in the bank. You want to be clear on what your life actually looks like 5, 10 years down the line. Because when you know what it is you're actually aiming for and why it matters, because if I have a good body, I'll be more confident, more energetic, more productive to get everything else in my life done. If it's a certain income, well, it might be because you can then provide for your family, you can provide for your girl, you can then be a carer, you can be the person that is supporting others in your life. There's a lot of reasons why anyone could have a single goal. But when you attach that why, you're going to be far more likely. And any goal that attaches your family or your partner into it, you'll be more successful in. So if it's, I want to look better, well great, prove it to yourself. But if you want to look better so that you show up for your girl better, so that she's more attracted to you, so that she can be proud in you too, so that you have more energy and presence with her instead of doubt, then that's going to be a more solid based goal. So coming up with your why is really, really, really important. When you have that 1% improvement, when you use the 1% mentality, and you pair it with your goal, and you're understanding why your goal matters, you have a surefire way of achieving those things. You have an absolute guarantee that you will get there. You've got the drive, you've got the passion, you've got the feeling in your bones that you want to make it happen. You know why it matters to achieve this thing. And if it is dropping fat loss, well, the next time you go into the cupboard and pick up the chocolate bar, you can remind yourself of your goal and your why. Well, it's because I want to be around for a long time. I want to be healthy and fit and attractive for my partner. So you know what? I'm actually going to put the chocolate bar down. I'm going to put the biscuit down. If you are trying to drop a bad habit and you catch yourself and you remind yourself of your goal and your why, you can then stop yourself from doing that bad habit, because it's actually attached to a greater version of you. It's attached to a greater meaning of your life and to the people around you. So when you do these two things, you can very much become the person you want to be. But you, one, have to be willing to make small improvements. 1%, analyze what you did yesterday and where you could go better, what you did last week and where you could improve. And you have to be willing to actually use your brain a wee bit and plan your goals and understand why your goals actually matter to you. It's something that I have done. It's something that I do with my clients. As soon as they join with me, I get really clear on their goals, I understand their why, and I build them a program that allows them to progress one step at a time. The program progresses with them as they advance, the program advances, so that it's not overwhelming for them at the start and they throw in the towel. Because I realized as a coach that I have a very good opportunity to change the trajectory of someone's life. And if I overwhelm them at the start and they throw in the towel, that could be their last opportunity at fitness. They could just never approach fitness ever again. But if I ease things out for them, if I give them a clear roadmap, they're far more successful. They're far less overwhelmed, and they take the steps on the plan. If they couple that with what it is they actually want to achieve, they're far more successful. And I have only learned this because I've experienced it so many times over and over again. This is only a method that I've developed in the last several years. It took me a long while to realize that this is actually the key to making someone consistent, is giving them the mental framework to believe it's possible, to know the goal is possible, and why it matters to them. And then giving them a plan that rolls that out in front of them. So for you, right now, watching this video, your first step is going to be figure out your goals. Figure out why it matters to you. And then come up with one or two things that you can start doing today, this week, that would get you closer. Absolutely nail those things. Become incredibly consistent with those one or two things. It might take several weeks, it might take several months, but nail those things before you then start to look at anything else. If you can do that, you will get closer to your goals. I promise you that slower, more consistent approach will allow you to adopt the mentality that this is not just a couple of weeks. This is not just 6 weeks of trying to drop this bad habit. You're not just giving it up for New Year or for Lent. You're not just trying to lose weight for a holiday. You're trying to do it for the rest of your life. And if you have that approach, you will do it. You will absolutely nail it. So try this. It's a method that I very much used repeatedly over the years, and I still do to the very day. It's what I use with my clients, and it's what I hope helps you. So, peace out. Have a great day. If you're looking for more help or one-to-one coaching, there's a link in the description below where you can find out a wee bit more information from that. Peace out.